Hello, 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 hello. How's everybody doing tonight? Just gonna be a second before I start really drawing anything just because I'm looking up references real quick. But yeah, I'm gonna just be working on my comic tonight, no fan art or anything because quite frankly, I've been holding off on working on this comic for a while, so it's I'm starting to finally get back in the groove of work on it. Gonna try to get 2 pages done today. One page should be pretty easy. The other, not so much. Other one's gonna be a bit complicated, but for now, I'm just looking up references. Let's see. Trying to find a good reference for this one panel right here. I don't think you can see it, but I'm talking about this panel right here. That's the one I'm looking for a good reference for. Yeah, so like for this shot right here, what I'm looking for is a sort of a bodega from New York City, but kind of behind the counter. And I'm also going to be looking up a radio. Like a radio set or some. Let's see. More like a portable radio. But yeah, I think for future drawing streams, I'll have like more of a in-depth like topics to talk about while I draw. But for now, it's just kind of a throw in your hat in the ring, and yeah, we'll talk about it. If not, I'll just be talking about the recent stuff I've saw, either going into spoilers or not. And if anyone's curious about the music, I have it playing in the background. Yeah, it's just I'm having trouble finding a good reference. Artists, if any fellow artists are watching right now, I think you know what I mean. Let's see, like the problem is with the radio, I'm kind of just finding stock, stock images, and I kind of want, something not stock image, but I think I'm gonna just be sticking with the stock image. Whatever, it doesn't need to be one-to-one. In fact, it's probably best that it's not one-to-one, because I do want to get in a copyright trouble, so. Alright. Let's see. So far in the comic, I have. Let's see. I'm trying to just kind of mess a bit here so I can get the maximum amount to work with on my drawing tablet. Yeah, what I'm going to be doing is sort of going to be drawing it here. First it's going to be a pencil, then I'll do an ink. But the reason why I said this page is going to be easy is because they're basically going to be the same, except one's going to have a bit of a foot coming down, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking, so this is going to be like a stored counter in the foreground. Actually, I'm going to move it up here. By the way, I also kind of like already did the text and speech bubbles to sort of get the idea of where I want things. Thankfully, I already did thumbnails for these two. I need to do thumbnails for the rest. Yeah, this is page 4. 3 panels. I might add... This, I think, will be changing. But, because I got some inspiration from Godzilla Rivals. Like, Godzilla Rivals versus Space Godzilla. Just the way that was paneled out. Let's see. The problem is I need the radio sort of position right here. So maybe if I get like a shelf or something. Get sort of a shelf. Or a little stand or whatever. Yeah, it's like maybe a box. It can be whatever. No, that can be the radio itself. I'm just again overcomplicating things. I don't need to be overcomplicating. See. Can look away briefly from that. The difficult thing is like I have to kind of I have to kind of like I want to be engaged with the chat. I need to keep checking OBS to make sure nobody is you know, I'm not ignoring anybody, I guess. But at the same time, I need to look up references and whatnot. So, okay. It can be here. The radio can be positioned here. And this doesn't need to be lined up with the perspective, really, because it's a bit of an odd angle and whatnot. I don't need to get super in detail about it. Yeah. And then if I go back to my reference, I'm going to put an extra knob. Just because again, you know, it's like I don't want to get in trouble with copyright or whatever. Yeah, this is sort of just a portable radio right here. Doesn't need to be perfect for the pencils. Because I'm the only one like working on the comic, so if I was working with an inker and whatnot, different scenario, and I would probably be okay with working with someone else, because that means it just I can like really focus on stuff more. But yeah, and then just look at the reference real quick. I don't know how long this stream is going to be tonight. It just depends how much steam I have. You know, mean, like, be real, the longer I stream, the more work I get done, so. And let's see. Sort of like. Now, this one does need to be, like, lined up with the perspective, so. Let's have it like this. Yeah, so this is gonna be like more of a countertop. Radio's here. It's messy, but it's fine for me, I guess. Just have the antenna to be a bit more thick. So, you know, I just realized I never drawn a bunch of bananas before, not like this, not like the reference that I'm drawing with, so this one's going to be a bit of a challenge. I feel like, but again, thankfully, I will only need to deal with this once in the comic. Yeah. Yeah, and then if I can like unview the text because it's a line, like it's a line to the radio, so it's alright. Oh, I forget that undo doesn't like undo the opacity or just like the view in sepia Clip Studio Paint. Yeah, so yeah, and then I'm gonna have sort of just like I need to go back to my reference real quick. So basically, it's going to be like a glass window door right here. I might make it a bit more brighter for the subject. And the next panel can be seen. Then, yeah. So this is like glass, and I'll add another like column here. Another column here. Pretty wide door with how close to. Well, that just makes it a bigger door. Alright. So now the next challenge is trying to draw a door while making sure it's like in a proper distance from the subject, like from the counter, so it doesn't look like it's right against the counter, essentially. Hey Scott, how are you doing? You seriously deserve more views. You make really good content and art. Oh, I thank you, man. I mean, with YouTube, you know, it's like, it's whatever, you know. I do it not so much for the views, but just because I want to, but appreciate it. And also, again, how are you doing tonight? Yeah, right now I'm trying to just kind of draw inside of a bodega, essentially. Might help if I have like, before I start going to the door, maybe like put some shelves right here or something. You're doing good? Glad to hear. But yeah, I'm just drawing, working on my original comic that I've been sort of putting off for a couple months from stress and mental health or whatever. But yeah, it's like I want to get this done at this point, so that's the reason why I'm streaming this instead of like fan art or anything. What have you been up to, Scott? Maybe some soda packs here. Yeah, I think this will work to kind of show that there's space between the counter and the... Nothing much. Not always a bad thing. I don't want to get too detailed with the bodega, but it does need to be detailed just enough to make it believable. Yeah, I don't really have any like specific topics to talk about. Whatever, you know, you can shoot up whatever, and I might have an opinion, I might not have an opinion. But other than that, I might just talk about I don't know, just like some of the recent media I've consumed. Let's see, and then little sign right there. Alright. Let's see, the reason why I don't want to make this like too detailed is because I need to have like a view of the street out here. Hey Floof, dropping to say I respect the Ultraman love, and your video on Ultraman Leo motivated me to actually get off my butt and watch my Ultra 7 Blu-ray. Wow. Well, thank you for the comment, you know, and hey, if my videos get more people to watch Tokusatsu, that's an accomplishment right there. But yeah, that was like my first video essay was the Ultraman Leo video, and speaking of Ultra 7, that is going to be my next Ultra review that I'm hoping to get done by the end of this month. I'm kind of working on rewatching the series myself, but yeah, thanks for dropping in. Look forward to more Ultraman content coming up. I also want to work on a Kamen Rider video that will probably come up before the Ultra 7 one, to kind of give you a heads up with that one. But yeah, there's definitely going to be more Ultraman videos coming up. I have the videos I want to do planned for the rest of the year. So yeah. And then keep this, you know, more window open while this one is just kind of blocked out, I guess. Something like that. And maybe have like a bar down here or something. This doesn't have to be like a one-to-one of what a bodega looks like. And this can be kind of... Don't have to worry about too much detail on this. Alright. The community is very Kamen Rider centric, and I am such a newbie with Ultraman outside of the like one episode of Tiga that was on TV when I was a kid. I feel you, but you know, I have a funny story, and I was in a similar situation to you, Floof, where um, like my first exposure to Ultraman was one episode of Ultraman Tiga that I only got to see once, and then years later, when I was in high school, I stopped at a store called FYE, and there was a Ultraman DVD set, and it looked so familiar. I'm like, why does this figure look so familiar to me? It was a DVD set of the original Ultraman, not Tiga himself, but the image of Ultraman just looked so familiar to me. I was like, I had to pick it up, and that's kind of how it all spiraled into my love for Ultraman and just deep diving into the franchise. And Kamen Rider actually came in later, funny enough. I was also grew up with not the best internet, so you know. Yeah, so I think we are good with this panel, and because I'm going to make my job easier. Now it's not going to be the same exact panel. There's going to be one huge difference. But yeah, I know what you mean. At least online, it seems like Kamen Rider has been very dominant, in the community. My second video essay was about that, was how Kamen Rider was, is like the more popular out between that and Ultraman. And I kind of theorized my reasons as to why that may be. It is crazy how dedicated Supro is to making sure as many people as possible see Ultraman. Yeah, they've been on a roll since they won the court case against Trio in 2018. That was the one thing that's been holding them back for all these years, was Trio. But yeah, they've been wanting to make sure that people know where to watch their Ultraman. And they've been doing a great job with Blazar and Zed. Like, the fact, I'll be honest, if you told me a couple years ago that not only would we be getting Ultraman simulcasted on YouTube, but with a dub, I wouldn't believe you. Just as a heads up, I gotta mute the mic real quick. I'll be right back. I'll still be drawing though. Just family and came in the Alright, sorry about that. Just, like, tomorrow's a garbage day, and, yeah, I'm like kind of like right next where you take the garbage out. And yeah, plays are being on YouTube, both sub and dub, is insane. One thing that surprised me about Ultraman, though, is that it was the TV franchise I always wanted without knowing it. Elaborate costumes and sets and stories that show. Sorry, the stream how it's like set up. That show unironic love for humanity. Yeah, it's yeah, Ultraman really is such like a great series. Um, I was like sort of explaining this to um, one of my new coworkers. Is that sort of like a way to describe Ultraman to someone who has like no exposure to Tokusatsu? Is Power Rangers meets Godzilla in a way. And I know that's like sort of dumbing it down, but no, I get what you mean though. Is that Ultraman is like it's really top-notch stuff. Blazar going the way of rejecting all human nihilism is really validating to watch. Yeah, and speaking of Blazar, that recent episode, the Ultra Q episode, that was fantastic. Like, I think that's just going to be one of my top episodes, um, just like of all time. Honestly, it was very beautifully executed, in my opinion. Like, just top notch stuff. My first exposure to Ultraman was through the Netflix anime. I then found Tokusatsu, which was what really got me into Tokusatsu, and watched the original Ultraman series. Yeah, it's really great to see Ultraman and Tokusatsu be more available now than it ever was. Like when I was getting into Ultraman, the Ultraman DVD, that was pretty much it. That was what I had. And then Ultra 7 came out on DVD, and then I found the old 4Kids Ultraman Tiga DVDs. And that was pretty much it for the longest time, other than bootlegs and imports. But no, like it's insane, and I'm glad that the Netflix series got you into Ultraman, and Tokusatsu in retrospect was Tokusatsu. The recent episode was incredible. The use of black and white was stunning. Yeah, yeah, and I also like am in love with just how they got the music down. Just like they really put an emphasis on the music in the series. So it's like again, it's amazing to see that we're getting Tokusatsu more available outside of Japan, and like Ultraman Blazar has been just superb. Like every episode's been banger now. So these two panels are pretty much done for pencil wise. Now the tricky part is I'm gonna just scrap this for what I had for the thumbnail, pretty much. And start from scratch on that. It's still gonna be basically the same, just different angle. Taking a quick water drink. I don't know why I said it like that. Yeah, also let me know if the volume's alright and whatnot. I should have asked that a little bit ago, but let's see. Blazar has been a wonderful treat to watch weekly. I remember I tried watching Orb a few years ago and couldn't get into it because of all the forms, especially them being based off Show Ultras. I can see that. I can sort of see that, you know. I loved Orb when it came out, but at the same time, I also was a bit more exposed to Ultraman. Like, oh, I know who all of these forms are based off. Oh, audio's fine and dandy. Good to hear. Yeah, you know, it's like that was one thing I kept hearing sort of, I guess, complaints about is just the legacy gimmicks of New Generation Ultra has been. I hope though you do give Orb another shot because Orb is a fantastic series. I felt left out with Orb because it looked like I wasn't getting it. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, like I will say I think Orb is one of the better New Generation Ultra series to get in, weirdly enough, but I can sort of see what you mean because there was a lot of like legacy stuff with it, with the forms and previous Kaiju and whatnot. But I still hope that you do go back to it because it's a fantastic series, and if you watch Ultraman Z, you'll have a bit more context to some of the characters. Anyway, I might cheat and do a symmetrical ruler for this. Trying to reference old drawing of the Kaiju. And this one I'm gonna have it be right there. Pretty much. Needs to be a bit wider. The head. Yeah. More like that. And then I'll just like sort of erase the panel line here. Orb's opening was fire, so I'll just watch it way later when I have the proper knowledge. Yeah, Orb has a fantastic opening, and I hope you also continue to enjoy Blazar. I know I have been enjoying it. I know a lot of other folks have been. Let's see. I have to sort of try to get this right based off my old character sheet. Not really a good character sheet, but it's serviceable. I'm trying to like I don't really want to like give you too many recommendations for Ultraman, simply because I'm someone that believes that you should look, you know, check out the shows you're interested in the most, like that capture your eyes, and that's just kind of a natural progression. I'm in it for the long haul with Blazar. I respect its older sensibilities while also having incredible special effects. Yeah. I will say though, if you want an Ultra series that has some really good special effects for the time, check out Gaia, Ultraman Gaia. That's available on Tokushoutsu. I know the subtitle quality is hit and miss, but at the same time, it's a fantastic series. One of my favorites. And they really went all out with the production value on Gaia. for sure. That's what I love about Tokusatsu is that they are easy to jump into because of their self-contained nature. Yeah, exactly. It's like I I don't want to be the guy who compares it, everything to the MCU, but I'm like with the MCU now, like I'm like so burned out on the MCU and whatnot because and I don't really have an interest in returning to it because, it's like it's exhausting to say the least. Uh, let's see. I might have to resize this. Whereas, yeah, anyway, with Tokusatsu, what I really like about it, each show is that each show is self-contained. Like, even though, yeah, Ultraman does have sort of the grander, universe that gets referenced, but overall, the stories are self-contained and they have beginnings and ends. It's not everlasting like the MCU has been trying to do. I know that I feel like I dodged a bullet in not getting into the MCU. For me, it was like Iron Man was a cool movie, and then I left it there. Yeah, I mean, I won't say all the movies have been bad, but it's just been, again, it's been exhausting lately, and I've tapped out at this point. Um, I think the one that really like killed it for me was What If the that show because it was like such a good premise. Like What If is such a great premise for a show, and they botched it so bad. Like it's ridiculous. This is probably looking a bit off. Oh. And I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of done. I kind of tapped out after that. Anyways. I think the problem is chest is too wide, so gonna just erase that. My exposure to Marvel media has always been the cartoon shows like the 90s Spider-Man. The 90s Spider-Man, that's how I grew up with Spider-Man along with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. And also Spectacular Spider-Man. That show got like canceled way too early. But it's a solid series nonetheless. But yeah, I think the older Marvel stuff before MCU has been solid, and to an extent, I think some of the early MCU ones still hold up, like Iron Man. But it's like lately, a lot of them haven't hold up all that well. Yeah, this is better. Now I know this is like kind of a boring angle to have. This kaiju is called Gaitaro, but I also plan on having a head sort of right here. Not you can't really see it. Hang on, right here, but yeah, I kind of want to just give a full body shot of the kaiju. The new Generation Ultra series I watched were Jeed, Orb, and X. Jeed was my personal favorite as it was the first Ultra series I watched front to back. That right there, Jeed, Orb, and X are like my go-to new gen trilogy, like new gen shows. Those are, I think, all outstanding shows. I I do flip flop of which one I like over the other one because they're just kind of like equally good in my opinion. Jeet also has a cooler face. Yeah, Jeet does have a really cool design, and I do like his form changes over Orbs. I think the form changes really got more fleshed out in Jeet. Not to say Orbs were bad or anything, but I think with Orb they were just sort of testing the water. In Jeet they were like able to, really, go for it. Now I probably won't have the legs like this. This is just, again, for my own sake to try not and spend so much time on this. The penciling and whatnot. The hands are going to be a bit of a nuisance because I made them so... I gave them big, meaty arms. Yeah, I might have to... I think the knees actually need to be a bit longer. Haven't drawn the kaiju in a while, so sort of relearning the stuff. Although this reminds me, it's going to sound insane, but I was never able to get into Ultraman as a kid. Tika's face scared me, so it gave me a lifelong discomfort with their unmoving faces. Well, I'm sorry Tika gave you that effect. Now I'm thankfully over that. Big, meaty claws! Exactly. Exactly. I mean, they're not claws. Well, I mean, not like claws, but yeah. But yeah, it's just he's got really buff arms, I guess would be the best way to describe it. So we got the bicep right here, and the hands just kind of massive. And I'm probably not going to keep the arms like this. Yeah, it's going to be a bit difficult because I want to show some perspective and dynamicness to it. So maybe if I draw a big old circle like this for reference and draw some circles right here. It doesn't have to be legible in this phase as long as I know what I'm looking at for when I get to inking. Also, I was a Power Rangers kid, so I grew up loving their helmets and visors. Yeah, I was into Power Rangers as a kid too. Sadly, I feel like I did grow out of Power Rangers. As I got older to an extent. I mean, occasionally I still watch Power Rangers, but I'm not into, say, the new Power Rangers, and I did drop King Oger. Not because I thought it was bad, but more of it's like, maybe it's not for me. But then again, I did watch Go-Go 5 this year. Really love Go-Go 5, which that was the basis for Lightspeed Rescue. Same, yeah, no, but Ultraman and Kamen Rider though, they've been keeping me hooked. I think they're not as, I don't want to say dumbed down or anything, but they're they're more family orientated than they are, say, kid oriented, if that makes sense. Like Blazar and Kamen Rider, they're more family shows where I'm sorry, Ultraman and Kamen Rider, they're more family shows sometimes, whereas Sentai is more strictly a kid show. What season was the last one you saw before you grew out of it? For me, it was Jungle Fury because I didn't like how many Rangers it had. The show that I dropped when I was like, into Power Rangers was Operation Overdrive. I'll be honest, I did not care for. Like, I watched the first couple of episodes of Operation Overdrive and I dropped out. I kind of skipped Mystic Force, so the last full season I watched as it aired was SPD. That was the last one for me. I will say I did go back and watch RPM when I got it on DVD. RPM I think is good. Haven't watched Jungle Fury yet, but yeah, Operation Overdrive is a bad one for sure. Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. That's the general consensus, is that Operation Overdrive, they dropped the ball on. And I'm curious to see how Cosmic Fury is sort of how that's going to go with all the controversy that it's gathered. Mostly from a certain showrunner that's been on Twitter. Alright. This is not perfect, but yeah, the thing with Gaitaro here is he's got these big arms, which I didn't realize would be such a interesting challenge to draw. Yeah, I don't need to go full detail, but something like that, and then I'll probably be up. And of course, got the tail. Can't forget the tail. I have zero faith in PR since Samurai, so I have no expectations about Cosmic Fury is shaping up to be a dumpster fire. Hey there, what'd I miss? Hello, Reptech. Not much. I've just been working on penciling the Kaiju comic, like our original Kaiju comic, and we've been talking about Ultraman and just recently Power Rangers. How have you been doing? Megaforce was the show that made me lose interest in Power Rangers. The show was not good. Yeah, I remember checking out Megaforce when that was coming out, and I was not really impressed with the show either, admittedly. You know, it was yeah, Neo Saban has, from little I've seen, has not been great. Tired, just trying to somehow troubleshoot NVIDIA GeForce. Oof. I know how that can be with, like, not necessarily with NVIDIA. Like, I haven't do like any custom like PC building or anything, but I do know about troubleshooting technology. I get where you're going with that. Like, I feel you there. Megaforce and Super Megaforce trying to tie two shows together is a bold move for sure. Yeah, the problem with modern you know, Power Rangers from my view, and I think I've seen this criticism from a lot of other people, is that they're really trying to capture Mighty Morphin, that lightning in a bottle Mighty Morphin was, and they need to learn that they gotta move on from Mighty Morphin. Like, yeah, you can have the 30th anniversary, that was fine, but stop trying to make every season Mighty Morphin. Some of the best Power Ranger series were not Mighty Morphin. Like, think of Power Rangers in Space, Time Force, the Disney era from, like, Thunderstorm, like, no, Ninja Storm, and through SPD. Like, they moved on from Mighty Morphin. I did manage to watch season 1 of Dino Fury. I enjoyed it. Still have yet to watch season 2 though. You know, it's like, I do have a, like, I do need to catch up on Power Rangers, but I do have a, like, a mostly complete set of the Power Rangers shows on DVDs. I think I'm not sure if Ninja Steel was on DVD, but I have from Mighty Morphin all the way up to, let's see, yeah, Dino Supercharge. So I have the means to check out, you know, some of the Power Rangers shows I missed, but it's more of a time thing and an interest thing. I'll be real. Alright. I think we're done with that. I'm gonna delete the ruler, duplicate this, save the original. Let's see. We're gonna have this leg. See, now we gotta get a bit more asymmetrical with the stance. The appeal of Japanese tokusatsu is how it plays itself straight. Power Rangers seems to feel like the writers are treating it ironically, which turns me off. That's been the thing with a lot of superhero media in the US. I feel like a lot of times is that they feel like they have to lambash the source material to an extent, and it's like, no, you don't. You don't have to do that at all. Like, a good example, Shin Ultraman. It's not ashamed of what it is. Like, it's not saying like, oh, look how silly Ultraman is. No, it loves Ultraman. It knows what it is. Don't mind me, I'm just kind of looking up a reference real quick, because I just need to see how this looks in a sense, because I gave my Kaiju's like sort of like the dinosaur legs. You know, I need to see what it looks like when it's straight like this. Maybe something like this, or have the leg up. It's like Kamen Rider Build is my example. A very serious plot, also with characters who are goofy and dorks, but they're treated generally, you know, genuinely, and it doesn't destroy the tone. Yeah, you know, it's like, that's the thing. You can be silly, you can be goofy, while also, as long as you don't betray the characters or like what you're going with, you know, that's how you do it. Let's see. struggling a bit with this leg. You know what it is? It's because it's at an angle. That's exactly why. The knee's at an angle. Needs to be more downward. Admittedly, Build is one of the many seasons of Kamen Rider that I have yet to check out. Currently, I'm working my way through both Double and RX, and will soon, as soon as I finish with Double, I'll be watching Amazon for the review. Kamen Rider tends to make characters goofballs when they make a face turn, but I feel that usually ends up going well, or it becomes legendary, like with XA. Yeah, you know, it's like, I feel like from the Kamen Rider shows I've seen, they do a good job not betraying the characters and who they are. You know, if that makes sense. Like, they can be goofballs, but they can also be put into some serious situations. You know, which makes us, the audience, empathize with them a bit. I'll stick to rewatching Shin Godzilla and Shin Ultraman for now. Can't get enough of those films. They are some great films. And BRB, gonna restart my PC. Yeah, no worries. I'm not. I don't plan on stopping the stream soon. I think I might want to try to get this one page done before I do that. I need to see Shin Ultraman, but I should see the original Ultraman show first. I mean, I know what, like, I know why you feel that way. You know, like, and I get it. But I don't think you have to watch the original. I mean, again, it's your choice, whether or not if you want to wait to watch the original or not. But I'm just going to say, you know, it's like, you can watch Shin Ultraman by itself without the original series and you'll be fine. But hey, you know, and you can always like go back to rewatch Shin Ultraman after you watch the original series, but you know, it's up to you, obviously. I just want to let you know you don't have to watch the original if you don't, like, you don't have to watch the original first if you don't want to. Let's see. Gotta maybe look up a better reference real quick. Okay. I think I've just encountered a big design flaw. But, nah. You know, we'll just not have the knee be prominent. And be more straight and narrow. I don't know why I'm spending most of my time on this part of the leg, since it's going to be like obscure, I guess. Alright. I'll be back in chat in a second. Just need to look up a reference. Okay. Okay. I think we're getting it. I think that looks better. Maybe... Maybe if I get a GIF or whatnot. That's good. I don't have to watch the original to get that movie. I just like having... I just like having nerd out moments when I see things like that. Oh yeah, I totally get what you mean. You can't rush out. Take as much time as you need. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. You know, and I totally get that, but I also want to get this comic done. um, it's a double-edged sword. It's like, yeah, take as much time as I need, but at the same time, I want to get this done as fast as I can, so I don't have to worry about it after a month or so, like a month from now. Then we'll just erase that panel line. And that layer right now. It's the layer 4 copy. There we go. The slight anxiety of working on a project for a long time. Yeah, and admittedly, I should have had this done already, but again, I just kept procrastinating, putting it off, working on other stuff because I got sort of overwhelmed by it because, you know, I got too into my own head. You know what I think the problem is? I think I just realized, wrong layer. I think the problem is this leg. I think that's what's holding up the... I'll just have the under this one. Guys, zoom this out. There we go. There we go. I think now I can work on solving this issue. I live off SpongeBob references, and that episode about procrastination is too real. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. Like, SpongeBob got real at times. I think we can all admit that. SpongeBob got too real at times. Alright. Yeah, now it looks like he's walking a bit more. Like, now it looks like he's walking a bit more straight. And you know what? I'm gonna cheat. Shh. But, yep. Just a bit cheating. Don't mind me. Alright. And then... that's the nice thing about digital art, is you can do stuff like that. Oh, got the right tool. Then we gotta go back and erase more stuff from here. Thick neck, yeah. Yep, gotta give him a big old long neck. And what I'm kind of like, my hope for sort of doing this like straight view like this is like I kind of want to like have it be more of an homage. Like I want, like, this is the first like full appearance of the character in the comics, so I wanted to show him off a bit. Oh, of course I'm in the wrong layer again. Oh well. It happens. We're on the pencil stage, so it's fine. And then I need to get back to have the symmetrical lure. Commands respect, bulky features, kaiju are a must. Yeah. Admittedly, I think this is one of the skinnier kaiju. Like, a little secret about this kaiju design is I actually reference more, like, even though there is some like kaiju elements I reference, I also reference elements from Ultraman and Kamen Rider for his design. Like, I wanted to give him more of a heroic look. Yeah, I almost forgot to pencil in those. And let's see, yeah. Yeah, you know, it's like I wanted to make him look a bit more like a heroic kaiju, so I kind of gave him more of a heroic build first, and that's why his waist is more skinny than other kaiju tend to be. Let's see. And then I'm going nuts with this penciling though. You know, and speaking about procrastination, this was a result from procrastination from today because I really should have gotten more done earlier today, but it happens. Alright, should line this up more with the horn. Boom. That makes sense. Like, his defined chest is a heroic feature. Yeah, the chest, the crystal in the center, they are, you know, all based on the tokusatsu heroes. But then I also throw in like kaiju elements. Excuse me, quick water drink. There we go. Oh. Is that not the right layer? Ah. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to for this layer, what we need is some buildings. So we need him to be walking amongst the buildings. Obviously it won't be like, the buildings won't look like this perfectly. The eyes too looks less monstrous, reminds me of Godzilla Hero era. Yeah, and I sort of took a tip from, you know, Ishinomori's design of the OG Kamen Riders, and sort of have like these tear scars coming out underneath his eyes. Yeah, and obviously you can see a bit of a better look at the, you know, Gaitaro in the thumbnail to the stream. Here, I can pull it up real quick. Yeah, so cover illustration right here. basically this is the head right here. But yeah, and that's the next page. I don't think I'll be able to get to it tonight, but we'll see. We shall see. Oh, on the wrong layer. Silly mistake. But yeah, sort of a low angle shot like that. And then we can sort of draw. Make some of the buildings different. Yellow and blue, great colors for him. Yeah, admittedly this comic won't be fully colored. The first 2 pages are, but I'm going to be going more towards like spot coloring for the rest, because I think like that was part of the reason I was like so much like I was procrastinating on this for the longest time, because coloring this felt so daunting of a task, along with penciling and inking. So I think I'm going to keep it, you know, the rest spot coloring pretty much. Then what I'm doing is just getting it a bit more symmetrical look to the buildings. I know I'm hopping on different layers, but it's fine. It'll be fine. Going for a more manga approach coloring, you know, I'm sorry, it's my side. Going a more manga approach to coloring, practical approach, yeah, pretty much it, you know. It's just like, I might do a full colored version later on if I'm up to it, but I also kind of want to get going on some other stories and whatnot. Yeah. And these can just be like rectangles and cubes. They don't need to be detailed. I do love me a good manga art style. Yeah, you know, I'm a big fan of manga as well. I guess to kind of show you what I mean with spot coloring, this right here is what it is going to sort of be like for the rest of the comic. Just not specifically red. Like I plan on, it depends on the page. It depends on what the page needs and whatnot. And to give an example of what I was doing before, right here. And this is still very, very early on into the comic. Anyway. And back. Glad that issue was solved quickly and easy. That's good to hear. Yeah. I don't think I need to go too much more into the penciling, and then just give some clouds. Alright. So that's the thumb layer. That's the top one. Okay. Okay, you know, I think we're getting... Oh, I should have probably done this beforehand. But realize my mistake. Oh well. We can fix it. We can fix it. There. Boom. That way he won't look so wobbly by the time I get to draw him. You know, I might just raise the shoulder a bit more than the other one. Or no, that wouldn't make sense. It would be this one that would need to be raised. And the other one can drop a bit. There. Still looks a bit funky. Yeah, it's not lined up great, I've noticed. Okay. There. Ah! That's not what I wanted. There. Now I think the mistake has been... Nope. I keep forgetting I'm on the wrong tool. Getting back to Tokusatsu, have any of y'all been checking out Kamen Rider Gotchard? We're like 2 episodes in. I know that for sure. Yeah. Gotchard, I'll admit the first episode didn't hook me in as much as I would have loved it to, but the second episode that really was like starting to click with me. Was the second episode. I really am enjoying Gotchard myself. Yeah, that's good to hear. You know, and I don't know. I think just with the character at first seemed kind of a little bland at first, but no, second episodes, I think it picks up the slack. But yeah, you know, it's I'm starting to get hooked into Gotchard after the second episode. You know, and I do have, admittedly, I do have high hopes for Gotchard because the writer worked on Dyna, Nexus, Kamen Rider Double. I just really like Hopper 1, such a cute little dude. Yeah, Hopper 1. Hopper 1's cool. Alright. So let's give all of the... Oh. Got put in a folder. Yeah, I will say, I like Hopper 1. There was no denying that. Anyway, we can give that the blue. And now we go into inking. Doing a bit of a stretch. Haven't watched Gotchard yet. I've seen the Henshin sequence though. The show looks sick. Yeah, you know, the action looks pretty good. I think also too is that I'm still kind of getting over Geats because Geats was the first Kamen Rider series I watched as it aired. So, you know, I'm getting over Geats. But the thing with Gotchard though is the TCG gimmick breaks my brain since I'm a TCG player. Yeah, I can see that. Like, I used to be into TCG. One moment. Water. Yeah, it's like, as a kid, I grew up playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I got into Magic when I was in college. But, in recent years, admittedly, I haven't played, like, any TCG in years. Just haven't had the friends or money or whatever to do so. sadly. Alright. Probably lower the opacity a bit more. Alright. Let's see. The thing that's nice about how I have this laid out is, again, I can just do what I did with the pencil and simply duplicate it, save some work. It doesn't help for the past few years. It has been impossible to find cards for a good chunk of time. Yeah. I will say Magic had one opportunity to get me back, and that was when they were doing that like Godzilla card thing, but I was not appreciative of how they did that, because let me tell you, if I could find Godzilla cards in a regular booster pack, I would have built myself a Godzilla deck. I don't care if this deck would have been good or not. I would have loved to have a Godzilla Magic deck. But no, it's the way they did that. Made me lose interest, so no Godzilla deck for me. But now Wizard of the Coast, of course, has been Wizard of the Coast. So they made sure I no longer have an interest with Magic or D&D officially. Wizards tend to bungle up everything they set out to do. Their crossovers have been subpar. Yeah. And also, their recent controversies, like they sent the Pinkertons out to somebody, from what I've heard. That was like ridiculous. And then the shenanigans, I'm not into tabletop RPGs. Just never had the group of friends to really do it with. But I know for a fact they botched Dungeons and Dragons up a bit. Which sucks. Oh yeah, the Pinkerton thing was wild. Yeah. Alright. I think I know what's going on. It's the mundane stuff that gets me. The mechanical, mundane stuff. But speaking of tabletop RPGs, I will say, I sort of want to get into them only for the sake of me starting up an Ultraman tabletop RPG, because I do have ideas on how to do it. Like how I would like to have it be done, but I'm not, again, it's part of I'm not too familiar with tabletop RPGs, so I wouldn't know where to start. Wizards is very much like Blizzard in a sense. They do a bunch of unethical things, but their player base are like strung out addicts needing another fix. That's sadly the capitalism. That's sadly capitalism at its work. Doesn't matter, what controversies or what that, as long as they're making money. That's the only thing these companies care for. I love to see a tokusatsu tabletop RPG. Yeah, I think there's room for one. If I don't ever get to make one, I hope somebody else does. because yeah, that would be. I think that's something that needs to happen if it hasn't happened already. We're just gonna erase that. True brand loyalty is just a thing I don't understand. Yeah, yeah. You know, part of it is too is that they get they get us when we're young. They get us when we don't know better, and it just spirals from there. Like, I mean, just think back to the console wars from the 90s. Like, that's a good example of them, like, companies weaponizing brand loyalty. Have you heard of a video game called Chroma Squad? Yes, yes, I have. I did try it out a bit. I bought it uh, on sale on the PlayStation Store, so I know exactly what you mean. Um, Admittedly, I'm not. I do like myself a good RPG, but I'm not too into tactical RPGs. I'm more of just like either action or turn-based RPGs. I don't know why, you know. And I I might pick up Chroma Squad again. It's just more of a when I picked it up, it wasn't the game I was personally looking for. You know, but yeah, I do have it. I played a bit of it. There's always a chance of me going back to it, and maybe a possible chance of me streaming it. Who knows? Actually, I lied. I bought the newest Pokemon game, so I too am picked up. Yeah, like I didn't buy the new Pokemon games, but I did get the I got Scarlet as a Christmas present, so I guess that still counts. I'm still get roped into Pokemon even though I know it's not going it's not going to change. Yeah. Doesn't need to be super detailed, just detailed enough. I mean, it doesn't matter, this is gonna be like all blacked out anyways. I'll stick to Digimon for now. Kind of skeptical of Pokemon stuff nowadays. See that right there is smart. Because Digimon is GOAT. Now granted, not all of the Digimon games have been great over the years. But now I need to get back to the Cyber Sleuth games real bad. But I was always a big fan of Digimon as a kid. I will say, with all the issues with Scarlet and Violet, I do respect what they did with the endgame. I have not gone to the endgame yet for Scarlet, so I wouldn't know. I heard Markusatsu mad D&D campaign called, oh yeah, Henshin and Dragons. I haven't checked out Henshin and Dragons, but I have heard about it. I guess we can just black this out. And yeah, there we go. The only time I will use the fill tool, because generally speaking, I like my art to be a little bit more rough around the edges. That's sort of the style I want to go with, the more sketchy aesthetic. Yeah. just realized this how wobbly this antenna is. Not spoiling, but the end. Oh, I'm sorry. Read that already. Alright. Sorry, I thought a new chat just popped up. Yep, anyway. Haven't checked it out either, but it looks interesting. Yeah, you know, it's... Like, I'm really interested. Like, I gotta check out their Henshin and Dragon series, but I will say I really do like Markusatsu's latest, like, string of videos about the distribution of tokusatsu. I think those were high quality videos. I think the team over there did a lot of great work. That's something I would like to be able to do one day, is to make videos with a team, because it admittedly gets a little tough going solo at times, like especially the editing. Like if I had the money to hire someone to edit, oh yeah, I'm doing that. You know, it's not that I absolutely loathe editing, but it's just editing can take a lot out of me, and that's sort of why video consistency is not really a thing on this channel. But that's sort of why I'm also starting the live streams, to have some consistent content. That doesn't look right. Video editing is mind-numbing work indeed, yeah, but I did discover a tool recently that I've implemented since the Shin Ultraman video, because I use Premiere, and there's a tool that like allows for auto cut, like it detects cuts and it automatically cuts, so it's great for cutting up, like, say, footage of the shows and movies. Do what you want to do. I keep telling myself to make a topic video one day on YouTube, but who knows when. Yeah, and that's the key, is like you gotta do, like, that's the key, is just do what you're interested in doing. You know, and yeah, you know, it's like, for me though, I'm also a bit of a perfectionist, so I also want a certain sense of quality to my video essays, and if, you know, I do, like, say, a low quality video, I'll put that in the title. I'll let people know that it's like, hey, this is like an unscripted video, just as a heads up, sort of thing. Now it's time to draw a banana bunch. Or bunches of bananas. No, like, really, that's generally, life in general is like, focus on the stuff you like doing. You know, and the rest will follow, hopefully. Sometimes it doesn't, but you know, that's all you can do, really, is just keep going at it with the stuff you like to do and how you like to do it. You know, and it just to at least give your life some enjoyment. Apologies if I'm missing any chats at the moment. I'm not used to drawing bananas. So it's not turning out super great. And then sort of give some shading there. You know what? Oh no. Yeah, that was bad. There we go. Then we'll just darken these boxes up. Right. Boom. Boom. Then I'll just keep the basket like that. Anyway, let's get back to the chat. Gotta live your best life. Well, I'm going to get going because I got errands to school to finally catch a stream, and I can't wait for your Ultra 7 video. Yeah, hey, thanks for stopping by. I'll be streaming. I'm hoping to keep streaming on Monday and Tuesday nights. But yeah, really appreciate you stopping by. You know, I am coming to terms that these do not look like bananas. I don't know what they are. But they're not bananas. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see how long. Might go for another hour or so. Or, I'm sorry, half an hour. I will say I appreciate y'all chiming in. You know, it's really nice to have an active chat. But yeah, I'm hoping to do more drawing streams, you know, on Tuesdays. That's the goal. Alright. No, I guess I can put a line right there. What else is new with you guys? To zoom out for this one. Thing is, it's like if I want to, I probably should. It's like I can grab a ruler, but again, I like my art to be a little rough on the edges, like on purpose. As I keep on doing, trying to get the perfect line. Just dealing with school and work and trying to doodle and scribble for fun again. Yeah, that's how you do it. That's, you know, do it for fun. And if you want to try, like, if you can't get into art for fun, or you're not having fun doing art, then it's not worth it. But school is definitely important though. Same here. Yeah, school and work. Yeah, we all got our lives to deal with. You know. Alright. So there's one. Then I can just up right. Doop. I'm having fun doing art, but it's either art block or just swamped with work and studies. I totally get that. Just a reminder, it's okay to take a break from art. If you get into to avoid burnout, breaks from art are healthy. They are a healthy thing to do. But yeah, no, it's like I get it. It's like I just started a new job myself, and that's been throwing off my schedule a bit. I'm trying to get adjusted to the new schedule. But yeah, I totally get it. What are you drawing, Reptech, if you don't mind me asking? Or what have you recently drawn? Like, I want to know what you guys are drawing, honestly. Like, now I'm interested. And then we can just put a fake logo here. Anything that comes to mind, but most recently some character concepts and personal world building. See, that's something I struggle with. Is I focus way too much on doing fan art. So, but it's been very nice to. It's nice to work on original stuff. It's something I need to balance out more, but hopefully, with me working on my comic right now, I'm doing that. That's. I want to focus on more original stuff, but the fan art, to an extent, is something I A, want to still do, and B, something I kind of have to do from time to time. Let's see. And just so we don't block out the speakers, I'm gonna manually color that in. I say color when I mean just black it out. That can just be filled out. I haven't done much fan art in my life, and funny enough, barely started to get into it as a way to refresh my drawing skills and habits. Yeah, I'm sort of the opposite. It's like I focus way too much on fan art, and didn't spend any time on original stuff. But I will say, fan art can be a good way to, like, what's the word? Sort of, yeah, practice, get some art practice, because the nice thing about fan art is you can typically get good references, whereas with original, you have to kind of cobble up several different things for references. Let's see. Oh, wrong tool. Wrong button. Then, oh. Just gonna put a line there because I'm gonna. Oh, that did not go the way I wanted to. Yeah, I have a folder full of images for just refs in general. Oh, that didn't go the way. Let's see. How's that? There we go. I still just want people to see the antenna. And the light's coming in this way. I draw whatever comes to mind as well, sometimes stuff besides tokusatsu. Yeah, you know, it's like, as much as this is a tokusatsu channel, you know, it's nice to, like, we can't be just tokusatsu all the time. Like, we got other interests, you know? Besides, if we were all tokusatsu all the time, well, that could cause some issues. For just our own, like, personal sakes and whatnot. Alright. No. I feel like I'm getting close to done inking this panel, so that's good. But yes, the moral of this stream is to draw whatever you want. By the way, what are y'all's thoughts on Godzilla -1? I'm personally looking forward to it, but I'm curious what you guys have to think about it. Like, I will say -1's giving me that good, like, scratch of the more antagonistic Godzilla that I like. Nothing wrong with MonsterVerse Godzilla. I like MonsterVerse, but I also sometimes need a good antagonist Godzilla. Seems interesting. Gonna watch it in theaters when it comes out. Yeah, I'm definitely checking out in theaters. I want to see it in IMAX. I'm hoping the IMAX theater that's an hour away is playing it because, yeah, it's definitely piqued my interest. I know there was chatter on Twitter about you know, there's a bit of a worry that the movie might go a bit more um, nationalistic. Uh, there is, you know, that worry people have, not gonna lie. Looking at the director's past work, yeah, but I'm still keeping an open mind. I'm hyped. The scene with Godzilla attacking Tokyo sent chills down my spine. Those really stayed true to what Godzilla was back then. Yeah, somehow it wouldn't surprise me if they get the same guy to direct an Ultraman movie afterwards. I mean, he is doing the Ultraman ride one at the one park, amusement park in Japan. He's doing the VFX for that, like he did the VFX for Godzilla, the ride, So if Tsuburaya wants to work with him, I totally see that happening. And then again, I probably should have gone with a user ruler, but it is what it is. And then again, what? Throw maybe like a stand here or something. I mean, he directed a ride for each of them, and from what I've heard online, they're both good. Yeah, I would have loved to experience them myself, but, obviously living here kind of makes that a challenge. But yeah, it's like I'm very interested to see what happens. And I hope the movie does well, and I hope Toho continues to make Godzilla movies. I will say I hope they start letting the creators actually create, like not have a leash on them, if you get what I mean. Like that's the biggest challenge. The biggest hurdle to Godzilla is Toho themselves. They always get in their own way because they can't just let the creators create. Like I think GMK would have been a much better movie if they let Kaneko do what he really wanted to. Alright, we're gonna put some grooves right there. Maybe some shade down there. It would also be interesting to see his take on Gamera. Yeah, and speaking of Gamera, have you all checked out Gamera Rebirth yet? If not, you got stuff that you need to do. A lack of creativity is the worst enemy of any franchise. It's not even really creativity. that's the problem. It's Toho's executives who want to be like, I mean, in a way, I guess, yeah, it is about creativity, but it's not for the lack of like the creators themselves not having any, but mostly Toho not allowing them to be on the off the leash a bit more. I haven't, but I need to. Yes, you need to check out Gamma Rebirth. It is like, I watched it, like I basically binged it when it came out. Not binge, but I watched it within like the first 2 or 3 days, and yeah, it was a fun. Gamera's back. I'll say that. Same, yeah. Y'all need to check out Gamma Rebirth. I described it this way on Twitter. It's if you Gamma Rebirth takes the lessons that were learned from the Heisei trilogy and Gamera the Brave to bring back Showa Gamera. If that makes any sense. Alright. I'll just handwrite this. Little push sign. Oh. It needs to connect. It still has a gap. That reminds me, did you hear about concepts for the Cancel Gamer 2006 anime being true? I have not heard about that. Scott, are you talking about what I said or what RepTech just mentioned? I mean, I can go more into detail what I mentioned, or at least try to explain it a bit better. Alright, and what we can do is what representment? Yeah, no, I don't think I've heard about the 2006 scrapped anime. Or I might have, but yeah, no. I would. That's something I'm curious about now. You piqued my interest there, RepTech. And I think that panel's good as done. I'll unlock this to see, okay. Yeah, that should work. And then I'll duplicate this. Boom. Nope. Boom. Apparently there were plans to create an anime based on Gamera, but it was never announced publicly and quietly cancelled. I'll link it here if I can, but YouTube chat doesn't let me post links at all here. Well, at the very least, thank you for letting us know about that. That might be something I'll have to look into more, and if I have time, possible video. And here's what I'm gonna do for this. See if it works. The artwork that was uncovered was thought to just be fan art until someone who who was attached to it confirmed were actually rough schedules of the proposed show. Oh. The plot thickens. And see, this is how you get a shaky look, quickly and cheaply, is to duplicate it and lower the opacity. Man, it's been a good year for lost media just being uncovered in general. Yeah, that, and also it's been a good year for tokusatsu. Um, it's streaming for a bit over 2 hours now. I'll try to finish up this one panel, then I'll probably be ending this stream there. But yeah. This is gonna be such a nightmare to, organize through, but oh well. But yeah, it's been a good year for tokusatsu and kaiju, especially here in the States. I know I mentioned this on Twitter, but I mean, we're getting Blazar, we're getting Kamen Rider, we got Shin Kamen Rider. Which Godzilla movie would you say is your favorite? Okay, so the original 1954 movie is my favorite movie of all time, but it is not my favorite Godzilla movie. My favorite Godzilla movie has to be Mothra vs. Godzilla, the 1964 movie. Not only did I grow up with it as a kid, but I just genuinely think it's the perfect Godzilla movie. It's when like all the Showa masters were, at their peak, and again it has both Mothra and Godzilla in it. Has some elements of like both anti-nuclear weapons as well as anti-capitalism. It's like a mix, like a perfect blend between what Mothra and Godzilla were trying to achieve, in a sense. I just think Mothra vs. Godzilla is a fantastic movie overall. Yeah, I can see that. What's yours, Scott? What's your favorite Godzilla movie? There we go. And Reptech, feel free to join in. You can also say what your favorite Godzilla movie is, if you have one. Didn't mean to cut you out there. swear. I'd have to say the original 1954 movie. It's an entertaining movie and it gets the job done when it comes to morals and themes. Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, it is my favorite movie of all time. It's a really well made movie that was able to like capture the trauma of what the people in Japan were going through at the time. You know, it's a very human movie. And it's also like also acts like a great like modern folklore, you know, and a great, you know, sort of like warning against, you know, to the use of atomic weapons and whatnot. Of course, nobody listened to the movie, but as we still have nuclear weapons, but yeah, it is a really great movie. I don't like how that turned out, so. Yeah. Sorry, I kind of went silent. I'm in the zone, as you may say, with this. Yeah. Any other Godzilla movies you like besides the 54 original? I hope this reads well, the foot. Because if not, that would suck, but I also really like the Kiryu saga. Kiryu has got to be my favorite version of Mechagodzilla. Yeah, the Kiryu saga was definitely fantastic. I think it's my like those two movies are my favorite of Millennium, um, the Millennium era. If I'm, whoops, got a bit carried away with erasing. Gotta be careful about that. Yeah, you know, it's like I thought both of them were really well made movies. I know people have gripes with Tokyo SOS, but I think they both work well together. Um, did you get a chance to see them in theaters when they were out? Because I know, because the first one came out at the November 3rd last year, and then the other one came out in March of this year, I believe. probably hide the... just so I can make sure I'm getting everything. Let's see. And, but yeah, you know, it's like... I think... I will say I think Godzilla against Mechagodzilla slightly inspired the comic, like this story's comic, or this comic story, whatever. Words. No, unfortunately, I did know those films. I did know those films were coming here. Must have been fun though. Yeah, you know, I'm sorry you got to miss out on it. They were fun. But yeah, it's again, you know, it's like hopefully you get the chance to see -1 in theaters though. And I did hear Godzilla 2000 is going to be making its way to the States sometime, you know, in November. Forgot when. And if you like 2000, definitely go give it a watch. I'm definitely gonna check out 2000 when it comes up, or as long as I'm not working, I'll be going to the theater to watch it. Alright. Might have to add some artificial shaking in the bodega itself. Some more handline stuff. But I am almost done with this panel. Alright. There. Some shaky lines. Alright, I think I'm going to be ending the stream here. Thank you for everybody for coming in. I think this has been my longest stream so far. I'll be doing more drawing streams on Tuesdays. Mondays will be gaming streams. I'm currently playing Mario RPG. But yeah, it's been fun. Thank you all for coming in. It's been nice chatting with you all. I'm hoping to get 2 videos out this month. Not this weekend, but hopefully next weekend and the weekend after. So appreciate you all, and keep tuning in, I guess. Hope you all have a great night, and take care and shwatch.